At the newest exhibit at the Dali Museum in St. Pete, art lovers can see works of art side by two of the greatest artists in the 20th century. We got a closer look at this groundbreaking exhibition.
Alberto Giacometti is perhaps the most important sculptor of the 20th century. His work changed the way that we saw the world. He was very closely identified with Surrealism, but even more so involved with existentialism after the war. He was born in the Italian area of Switzerland on the southern side near the Alps. Spent most of his youth in Stampa, very much right there in the Alps, in the beautiful glade. And that really informed a lot of his work, the way that he saw the world. Yeah, so Giacometti, as a young man coming from Switzerland, wound up coming to Paris when he was young and becoming very closely identified with people interested in Cubism. And then his language developed and he became much more interested in changing forms. And that led to him being introduced to Salvador Dali and Andre Breton and the Surrealists. And when he was a Surrealist, he developed an entire language that was very much the language of the unconscious, seen in visual 3 dimension. And once he disassociated himself from Surrealism and moved in a different direction following the war, he created these sculptures that are uniquely Giacometti-like. They are elongated figures of walking or standing sort of presences that are emaciated and just kind of taut. And it really was developed because of his idea about perception, and they became very much connected to existentialism and the idea of the plight of the man as an individual against the world. So Salvador Dali, this extraordinary kind of narcissistic, celebrity-driven, luxury-loving artist who wanted to always be in front of the press, and Giacometti, who was a very austere, remote, uninterested in any kind of media or spotlight. They're about as far away from each other as you could imagine. But for a period of about 4 years, the two of them became very close friends and allies while they were both in Surrealism. They were working on very similar ideas with form. So Dali's elongated forms are very much like Giacometti's elongated forms. So Giacometti, a painter and a sculptor, but his sculpture is so much a part of the 20th century imagination. And Dali visually is so much a part of what we think of with Surrealism. And to see so many great works in conversation with one another, it's a really unforgettable experience.
And the exhibit runs through April. For more information, you can go to thedali.org.